Hello and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to show you some mixtures that you can use, kind of general mixtures that you can use that will help you for choosing background colors. Mostly for still life, of course. You can also use some of these mixtures for portraits if you're a portrait painter. And so this was actually a video suggested by one of my viewers. So thank you for the suggestion. So when choosing a background, let's say for a still life, now I tend to paint in the style that's more traditional. So if you're a painter who paints purposely in really bright colors and you use bright colors throughout your whole painting, that's a little bit of a different thing that I'm going to be showing you from today. But today is for more traditional styles, still lifes. So typically if you have a lot of color, like let's say you have a still life set up with some fruit and flowers and maybe some leaves in a vase or a jar or something like that. Typically all your colors and your brighter colors and contrasts are going to be in the center of interest. So how do you choose a background for a painting like that? Well, your first rule of thumb is that you want to kind of stick to more neutralized colors that don't come forward as much. So a good kind of go-to mixture that I use in a lot of my paintings is raw umber, chromatic black, and then I'll temper that if I need some more opaque areas with Naples yellow. Now this is this is lead tin yellow or genuine Naples yellow. The two colors are more or less interchangeable, actually. They're not the same pigment, but they handle very similarly, and they're the same color almost, so you can kind of interchange them. Now, this is expensive. You don't have to use it. You can use white mixed with a tiny little bit of yellow instead, whatever you have. You don't have to run out and buy a whole bunch of expensive pigments. It's just that I happen to like these colors, so that's what I use. But you don't have to use that. So let's start with a little bit of raw umber and black. So that makes a good dark background to start with. Since I tend to paint like I said, in a more traditional style, I'll start with that usually. And the raw umber gives it a little bit of warmth. So, that makes a nice dark sort of translucent background. And then if I want to lighten it up, I'll come in with a little bit of that yellow. And the yellow with the raw umber makes kind of a nice, very, very neutral greenish color. It's just bordering on green, but it's very neutral. So it's a nice color because it sort of hangs in the background, and like I said, you can also use white here with a tiny little bit of yellow mixed in. So that's sort of my go-to mixture for my still lifes. Is this raw umber and Naples yellow with a little bit of black mixed in. If you wanted something that was more green, you could mix that with a little cadmium yellow light. That would give you a little bit more of a greener look to it. As you can see here, that's more green because the cadmium yellow light has more of a greenish. Going to make it more greenish when mixed with the black. So now, if you want to warm that up and have a background that's warmer, then you can bring in a little bit of burnt sienna to this black and raw umber mixture, and that will warm it up quite a bit. This burnt sienna is nice and transparent. So that will give you a warmer background color to work with. So then if you were to come in with some white into this, You have more of a warmer tan background. That makes a nice background for if you have warm light on your setup. And then a good sort of go-to cool mixture, I find, if you have a cool light and you're doing a scene with mostly cool colors, a good background to use for that is, you can use ultramarine blue. If you have cobalt blue, use cobalt. But you can use ultramarine and a little bit of ultramarine and black mixed together with, or like I'm using cobalt here, but you can also use the ultramarine if you have that. Ultramarine is much less expensive, so probably most people will have that color. And that creates a nice dark, cool mixture, which then you can put a little medium in that just to make it easier to... So, and then if you add white to that, you get, kind of a bluish gray background, and that makes a nice background for, like I said, a cool light still life. So that's good for like cool light and cool setups. So, and then another background you can use, especially one that's good for flowers, like if you have if you're painting roses or a lot of brightly colored flowers, I will sometimes use burnt sienna with a little bit of phthalo blue. Gotta be careful with phthalo blue because it's really strong. And then a little bit of cadmium yellow light. And that gives you kind of a nice greenish background that's not too green. And you can either lighten this up either with white for a cooler look to it, or you could lighten that up with a little Naples yellow or white mixed with a little yellow. So that's kind of a nice neutral green background that's good for florals. So the background should always be more neutral than your subject, typically if you're painting in a traditional style. So just again to go over the mixtures I've used here. This here is sort of my standard mixture, go-to mixture of raw umber, black, and white or Naples yellow. If you want to mix a little cadmium yellow into that, it makes it greener, more of an olivey green. A nice warm background is burnt sienna, black and white. A nice cool background is ultramarine or cobalt blue mixed with black and white. And then a good background I find for florals is this green that's made from cadmium yellow light, phthalo blue, and burnt sienna, so that it doesn't get too green on you, because the burnt sienna kind of tones it down a little bit, and then white to lighten it up. So I hope that these sort of background suggestions will help you choose one that's appropriate for the painting that you're working on. And I thank you for watching. Take care. Thanks so much for watching. Go ahead and click on that subscribe button so you won't miss the next video. And why not spread the joy? Be sure to share my videos on your favorite social media. Don't forget to head on over to my website, walcottfineart.com, where you can see my art, read my blog, or when you join my newsletter list, you can win free art. Every month, I'll choose a lucky winner for my email list, and that person will receive a mini original oil painting. There's a chance to win every month, so be sure to sign up today so you don't miss out. Plus, you'll get my fun newsletter. See you next time!